I'm excited. I'm very excited because I've got a special guest joining us in the studio. This is someone who wears many hats in our community. Mr. Andrew Hill is the Director of Education for the Australian Academy of Tennis Coaches, where he's making waves in the world of tennis education. Beyond the court, Andrew is deeply involved with the Olympics and the Special Olympics. He's fostering opportunities and inclusivity in sports. He's also the driving force behind STARStv, which is a youth-focused YouTube channel, and he's an active member of the Ryde Macquarie Park Business Chamber, where he contributes to the local business community. He's also a guitar player. He's an all-round good guy. So let's join us as we welcome Mr. Andrew Hill to 2RRR. Chook's Morning Roost.
Hey, Chook, what an intro. I'm going to have to live up to all that. So, good morning and thank you to 2RRR for the opportunity.
Mate, it's great. It's wonderful to have you. This is the first time I've met you.
Yes.
We had a chat late yesterday afternoon and I got all very excited about you coming in.
Look, feelings mutual. It's always nice to tell stories and talk to the community.
It is, and I love having someone in here. Otherwise, I'm just on my Todd for 2 hours talking to a brick wall.
A brick wall? Here we go. We got a human brick wall for you.
Do indeed. Now, Andrew, we're going to talk many things. We're going to talk Australian Academy of Tennis. We're going to talk Olympics, because I'm an absolute Olympics nut, and I know you started something way back after Sydney 2000, and I was actually at the 2000 Olympics.
Excellent.
I took 2 weeks off work, and I was there almost every day.
I was going to say, I thought you were representing Australia.
No, not yet. One day I'll get there.
Yep.
I was actually thinking about getting into the lawn bowls, Commonwealth Games. Maybe that's my ticket in.
That's him.
But we're going to talk Olympics. We're going to talk about his STARStv YouTube channel, and we're going to talk about Macquarie Park Business Chamber. We've got a whole lot to talk about, Andrew. Overnight, US election.
Amazing, yes. And I'll just say amazing. I'm not going to make any comments. You go with who's in charge and you make the best of whatever the situation is.
I'll tell you what I came up with this morning. I'm calling him the Trumpinator.
Trumpinator.
Because he did say 4 years ago when he lost it, he'll be back.
I'll be back. Oh, all right. I can see it. Very good.
Yeah, so the Trumpinator.
He might like that.
He might like that, actually. But we are here. Let's start with some tennis talk. I know you are the director. Well, you tell us what you are.
Well, I'm a director of AJH Sports and STARStv. So that's our local business, but it has a big voice and we go international with that. You mentioned before AATC, Australian Association of Tennis Coaches, and work on the future education of all tennis coaches, and that's a privilege.
And I'm guessing, how did you get involved? I'm guessing you would have started as a player of some sort.
I was. I was very lucky early on to get an opportunity to go down to AIS as a talented youth, but
very lucky.
But worked out that it wasn't for me because you needed something exceptional. I needed to be taller or something, or faster. But I made a vow for myself. I'm going to be one of the best coaches, and I'm going to help other people do that. And that's what I did.
And what was that journey or that path to becoming to like the top dog? Like from being a tennis coach at your local club, how's that journey? How's that path?
That's been excellent because there's a lot of support. You've got Tennis Australia, you've got the Australian. There's all different schools of thoughts on coaching, and then you got international coaching. I started to look outside Australia, and that's what made me stronger. Because then I could understand what's happening in America, what's happening in France,
Europe.
There's Spain. Spain's got an amazing system. So I took an international approach.
And when you say that, how do you actually get there? So you start at your local tennis club?
You start playing, all right? You start playing and then people go, oh, all right, you're pretty good at that. And then next thing, a coach might say, could you work with me because you actually seem to understand? And also being patient, that is a big thing. So when people can't get it, you just need to look at it a different way.
And how's I guess with all sports, we know technology, how has tennis coaching adapted and evolved over the last 20, 30 years that you've been involved?
All right, really good question. There's your phone. Like if I'm working with someone, I can actually take a video. If they're not getting it, I can actually show them the video on court. So that's a simple thing. But right at the high level, here in Sydney, actually, in the Ryde area, we had the first game of virtual tennis, and we played Austria versus Australia. So Professor Jeff over there in Austria versus myself, you put your goggles on and you see the same court and you hit the same ball.
Now, are you holding a racket?
You're holding a toggle.
Okay.
And when you look
like a Nintendo Wii kind of
yeah,
thing?
it is like that, and you can actually get things that look like a racket as well.
Yep.
So when you get a photo, you look at least the part. But when you look on the screen, you're holding a racket and you're an avatar, and there's a person up the other end. You can wave at them, you can talk to them. It's very real.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. But the first one was done here.
And were you in a studio?
I have my own studio in STARStv, and I have really good virtual reality equipment, and I use Vive, which is very fast, and now they've gone to Oculus, which is a little bit more I've got wires, but my wires I have very fast internet, so it's very instantaneous when I do something.
Oh, I'm blown away that you're sitting there and you're literally playing a game of tennis with somebody in Austria.
I know,
right here in Gladesville.
Well, when he was putting it together, he asked for help. And then he said, "Let's test it," and it was great helping. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, it was great testing it out. And then sometimes you go, "All right, we need to tweak this shot on the algorithm." But it was amazing. Yeah. And you can choose which court you want to play. You just touch a button.
Hard court,
I know. You go Wimbledon, and then we were talking about imagine bringing people like Rod Laver as an avatar, and you say, "I want to play Rod Laver," and then or Rafa. Now there is a history of John McEnroe playing John McEnroe 30 years ago.
Yep.
He played himself.
On the virtual tennis?
On the virtual tennis.
I grew up in the 80s, so John...
he's one of your favourites.
John McEnroe, Boris Becker, Andre Agassi.
Boom, boom. Yeah.
Boom, boom,
Agassi's in Sydney.
Is he?
He's in Sydney at the moment. He's coming for the World Business Summit.
Well, so you're involved in everything, but... Speaking of big names, I know you have coached and worked with some of the best, Leighton Hewitt to name one. So tell us about some of the people you've worked with and what that's like.
All right. Well, you mentioned Leighton. Leighton has his coach, Darren Carl, at the time, but I was the head coach of Sydney International Tennis Centre.
Yep.
And we had this idea, imagine if we could put on a camp and have Leighton training, and we had 160 kids training next to him. That's copying like the best.
Inspiring.
Anyway, and then he trained with the kids that day. That night, he went to the Masters. We had shirts, Hewitt, you can do it. And he became number one in front of the kids.
That he was just
hitting that day. He became number one, and the next day we celebrated. But you'll never see that. It's an amazing opportunity. Right place, right time.
Definitely, indeed. The world of tennis. Tennis is... it's one of the global games. They talk about soccer or football, but tennis is really one of those things that is internationally.
It is, and you play for your flag. Sometimes you don't play for your flag, but it's just a game. And Wimbledon, you've got your Grand Slams, which is excellent. But your soccer and all those ones are, they are international sports. Yeah, it's great to see the flag flying and all these things, and this is one of the reasons for the Olympics and for games. You bring countries together and you play instead of fight.
Yeah. And I love that. And we are going to talk more sport after a little bit of tunes, but I guess what I wanted to talk about is how is the popularity of tennis in this new modern era amongst kids? I know growing up in the 80s, we all played tennis.
Yes.
We all played tennis or cricket, and cricket in the summer. We all played soccer in the winter. How is that youth program, and how is that youth participation? Is it still as active as it was? Is there still a high number, or there's so many different things with video games and other sports coming in?
There are. Now, the first thing is if you go measure sport to sport, so tennis is one sport, and you're measuring it against all the other sports. Now, there's more sports opportunities. But one of the things that we have to watch is screens. We've given kids screens, and they go, I can just turn this on, switch off from the real world, and we have to be careful because we have to make sure. So that's what STARStv does. It says, hey, turn off your phone, have a look at this. Can you do this out in the real world? Right.
So there's still good participation, but definitely one thing I did want to talk about was the rise of pickleball. Now, tell me about what your opinion. We know that pickleball has actually taken off.
It has taken off.
It's a meteoric rise globally.
I would say it's a big hype.
Is it a fad or is it here to stay?
Oh, look, I would say it's a hype.
Yep.
So everyone's hyped up. How long it stays comes down to the infrastructures. Something like pickleball, you could play on a hard surface like netball court, you can play it anywhere. You could play it in your backyard. It's modified. The main thing is get out there, be active. If you're playing tennis, pickleball, squash, any of the racket sports, that's great. Yeah,
Squash isn't something that squash has waned again. I remember down here next to Holy Cross College that had the Glades, the River Glades squash courts. I don't see squash.
Now that's your infrastructure. So if there's less squash courts, you'll see less squash.
And is that to do with the governing body? Is that the cost of courts? Is that just the lack of participation? What do you think's going on with squash over the years?
Squash had there was a case study on squash. So I do a lot on sport and case studies. So
I knew you'd be the man to ask.
Squash had all these infrastructures. They had a very good game, perfect on a wet day. You go and play squash. Then, when all the sports started to go, they didn't really morph into a multi-sport. A multi-sport is very important because you attract more people to the same spot. So in squash centres, you had rock climbing, basketball, things like that. So I was playing squash yesterday at Macquarie Uni.
For real?
Yeah, for real.
Oh, there you go. Someone still plays squash.
Oh, no. Well, there's beautiful courts at Macquarie Uni. There's social groups. There's schools yesterday. So I was in charge of the schools.
Right.
And so it's still around. There's some new things. There's a thing called Squash Star, which is coming out, which means you can play squash outdoors. It's sort of like a rebound net.
Nice,
so it's nearly like a wall ball.
So back to the pickleball. What do you think's going to happen here, and what about the regulatory bodies and authorities and the infrastructure for pickleball? And is that a threat to Tennis Australia or tennis globally, or do you think that's something that can be encompassed?
I would say that,
or is there a bit of a divide? Is there a bit of
it's new ground. So what you've got is Tennis Australia officially endorsed paddle. Now paddle is sort of like squash tennis. You're inside a glass sort of
like racquetball.
It is racquetball, but you can play off the back wall and there's a net. So that's paddle, but very high cost for the infrastructure. Pickleball, you just pull up a net out of your car. You go on the road. You could be in there. Like I used to play on the road as a kid because the ball bounced well, and there weren't many cars. I'm not saying go out on the road and on Victoria Road out the front, but just find a safe place where you can have a hit with your friend.
And before we move on to some of the other things, what's your love about coaching? And are you coaching all ages? I know you're the director of coaching, so I guess, are you still out there?
I hit every day. I was, just before here, I was stretching so I can make sure I can reach everything without hurting myself. And as you get older, you probably have to stretch more.
Yeah, you do.
And but yesterday we had the Special Olympics students, so they all came in and played tennis. We have kids. We have our group called the Keenagers, who are older active.
The Keenagers?
Keenagers, not teenagers.
That's the word of the day. I like
that. So it's 60 plus and older actives. And I just wanted to come up with a nice positive word. So our Keenagers, I've got the 80-year-olds, and they're playing table tennis up at Kings Park, Denniston.
So I love that. The Keenagers. We are joined here on Chook's Morning Roost with Mr. Andrew Hill, a man of many talents, of many hats. We will come back to him after a little bit of music, but I'll tell you what, we're going to play a little bit of Daryl Hall and John Oates with You Make My Dreams. And I like a little bit of this because sport is about dreams.
Yes.
Life's about dreams, having some goals, hitting some balls. Here you go, Daryl Hall, John Oates. You Make My Dreams. 2 88.5 FM.
Yeah. Where's a great place to socialise or hold a function?
The Bizzo Club Eastwood with its ultra-friendly and personal atmosphere.
Get your friends together and enjoy exciting cocktails, cool wine and champers, fantastic spirit mixes, or a great choice of cold draft and craft beer with appetising bar snacks.
You can watch live sports on the big screen and place a bet on the TAB.
2RRR sponsor, the Bizzo Club Eastwood. A great place to meet.
The Bizzo Club Eastwood on Hillview Road, close by West Parade.
The prestigious Perry Prize for Drawing competition is now accepting entries. Since 2006, the Perry has gained the attention of some of Australia's most accomplished artists and esteemed judges. With the additional $5,000 acquisition of the PLC Sydney Prize for Arts Education Award, the Perry now offers prize money totalling $25,000. Entries close at midnight on Wednesday, the 15th of January 2025. For all details, search 2025 Perry Prize for Drawing.
If you dig jazz, then 2RRR has got you covered. Tune in to Midday Jazz, Monday to Friday with broadcasters Hartley Anderson, Jim Catlin, Rob Scott, Tom Parker, and our mysterious Jazz Jukebox. From vintage trad to mainstream, we at 2RRR have all your jazzy needs. That's Midday Jazz, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., Monday to Friday on your local sound to the world, 2RRR 88.5 FM.
Good morning. You are joined here live in the studio. You are tuned in to Chook's Morning Roost. It is 7:53 in the AM. We are chasing tops of 29 degrees. It was a warm one yesterday, another warm one today, but showers increasing throughout the day with a high chance of thunderstorms late in the afternoon. What's happening out there on Sydney's Road? Oh, Blakehurst Princess Highway at Hatfield Street, the usual. There's a broken down bus affecting 1 of 3 northbound lanes. We've still got that problem at Jarawa at the Hume Highway, past Jarawa Road, and Clyde at the M4, just past James Roost Drive. Traffic is building due to a broken down car that happened about 7 o'clock today, but that is building. It's very slow going through there. Other than that, looks all right out there on Sydney's roads. I'm joined here in the studio with Mr. Andrew Hill. As we said, he's the Director of Education for the Australian Academy of Tennis Coaches. He's also the founder of STARStv, which is a YouTube channel. And let's talk a little bit about STARStv and the good stuff that you are doing in the community with the children, getting them off screens and getting them out there.
Yeah,
playing with balls.
Yeah. Well, we do everything. So every sport is part of. We've got STARStv, which is sort of like a TV channel, so kids can see themselves on the screen. Mm-hmm. And then what we do is we inspire them to watch champions and say, "Can you copy this in real life?" So we're actually motivating them to get up and do it themselves.
And how does the whole STARStv's YouTube and website work? I know it's quite interactive, but I guess tell the people at home how does it work?
All right, it's a free website with a whole lot of information, and there's information on events and experiences. You know, experiences mean if you want to learn how to play tennis, you just turn on the screen and it'll show you how to hit forehands, backhands in a video. It'll show you pictures.
So it's like a coaching tutorial?
That's one of the areas. So education is one of those big things. Now, the next thing is you go, all right, well, that's really good to know. Where do we do it? So then we invite you to community events at Sydney Olympic Park and all over with the coaches there, and then everything's set up. It's all free, and you can just come out and play.
It's all free. How do you fund this?
It was funded originally through Sydney Olympic Park. So, Sydney Olympic Park
got right behind you.
Got right behind it, and it was. I actually won Citizen of the Year for
2007.
Yeah, so
I was 2004 for Jindabyne Snowy Mountains.
Excellent.
Yeah, I read that about you.
Yeah, so they're just things. It's an idea, and then people jump on and they go, "This is really good," and there's a nice energy. So with that one, Sydney Olympic Park was excellent, and they did it up till 2020.
Wow.
So
20 years of funding.
20 years, and it was all covered, and they used to welcome people to Sydney Olympic Park from all over, and then when you come to the park in the morning, you'd probably stay and have some lunch and things like that. But that's how we activated the park.
And what was the inspiration, I guess, that for this founding idea?
All right. This is a really good story because we had the Leighton Hewitt Academy, and I was the head coach out at Sydney Olympic, and I'm looking at him thinking, I know how to fix tennis. I'm just going to take Leighton to every school. And then I went, that's not going to work. I'm going to need my own sports star. And I just had that stop moment where I went, I'm going to create a mascot called Sports Star, and he's going to sit in my boot, and anywhere I go, he just comes out. I'm sure there's someone who wants to jump in the suit. So we started going to schools about being healthy and active with sport, and they would just give me one of the school kids who would be waving at his mates in an assembly, and it was just...
And he's in the suit.
He's in the suit. No one knows he's in the suit. He's waving. Everyone's waving back. He's like an instant celebrity. It's so fun.
So it's a real good, I guess, a confidence boost as well to some degree, and it gets kids engaged and involved.
It does. It's still going. So you'll see the stars this Christmas. We're now in November, but at Christmas we'll do the North Ryde Common, and you'll see Santa Claus and the stars, and they're up on stage, and these are some of your school kids who just want to share positiveness.
I love that. And what other kind of content do you produce, and what are the other topics on the channel or throughout the website?
All right. The easiest way to answer this is everything that a person would learn at primary school. So there's 6 key learning areas: English, maths. It's all on there. And what I did is other people got inspired and started to share some of the best. I've got a quantum mathematics guy, and they just share ideas.
Is it a video? Is it a podcast? Is it reading?
It's reading and videos. Yeah, okay. All right. So if you're a lot of people are visual learners, so they can just touch a video and then have a little quick snapshot. But then the screen says, "Hey, stop and go out and have a go." So it's all about having a go.
So you get them engaged, and they're obviously on the screen, and then they might be learning a backhand.
Yeah.
And for example, and then they teach it, and then after 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes, the program will just say, "Hey."
The program could be 5 seconds because they're inspired to go, I'm just going to go I haven't even got a racket, I'm just going to do some shadow play. And they're just dancing around the room. Like kids' imagination, there is nothing stopping that.
I love that. And how do you get the content? Are you producing the content? Are you getting other sports or other educators? You said you had a quantum mathematician. How's that content coming to you, or how are you chasing? All
right, so I did all the sport. So I just sat and put all that content in. And then I had other people going, Roseanne Gallo, singing star, she said, what a great idea. And I said, would you like to be singing star? So she got an Order of Australia medal for singing services. Roseanne Gallo does a great concert, gets all the kids involved. So that's singing star. And then I've got dancing star, I've got music star, I've got some top musician educators who just share. They just want to share like myself, and I just share with them, and I just put their name as acknowledgement.
Rumour has it you're a guitar player as well.
I am a guitar player, but for myself.
But for yourself, so you're not gonna
it's a calming thing. It's beautiful, actually. You sit on the deck and you just watch the sunrise and have a bit of a tune.
Well, tell people where they can go to learn more about Stars TV.
STARStv.com.au. And let's say if you want a specific one, they've all got their own name, sportstar.com.au.
All right, and so you just click on that website, there's a menu bar, and there's Singing Star, Dance Star, Sports Star, there's YouTube channel, you're on social media.
Yes.
The whole bit.
We just hit 110 million hits on Google.
That's massive.
And that's international, and we're just sharing it. Go on and increase that for me.
There you go, you are listening to Andrew Hill. It is 8:30 News on 2RRR. We'll be joined
National Radio News.
Good morning, I'm Shannon Kirkwood. With severe heatwave conditions set to continue across northern Australia today, authorities have issued an urgent water safety message. Surf Life Saving Australia says it is expecting a surge in beachgoers. It wants those heading to any of the nation's waterways to cool off, to stay safe. Today there are storms and heat forecast in the east, while the Bureau of Meteorology says there should be settled conditions elsewhere. Senior meteorologist Sarah Scully says Northern Australia is experiencing low to severe intensity heat waves, with those conditions moving further south in the coming days.
So the heat waves, they're being driven by the persistent and intense heat that's been ongoing across these areas for days, if not weeks already.
Meantime, residents of a southwest Queensland town have been cleared to return home. The Dirranbandi fire emergency eased overnight, with the blaze now at advice level and burning within containment lines. Power has been restored to homes and businesses. The US markets have surged after Donald Trump won the US presidential election. And while there's been a positive reaction in US markets, some commentators are concerned about the impact on Australia's trade and security. Associated Press has now called the race, projecting the Republican has won 292 votes and his Democratic rival Kamala Harris 224. Vice President Harris has called President-elect Trump to concede and congratulate him. Trump addressed his supporters last night.
We're going to help our country here. We have a country that help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight.
Meantime, Ms Harris is speaking to her supporters today after facing criticism for failing to address the thousands of people who were waiting at Harris HQ last night. Young men are also being adversely impacted by social media platforms. A new study conducted by the University of South Australia has found platforms such as TikTok and Instagram are fueling unrealistic, unhealthy obsessions with a lean and muscular physique among many young men. The findings link appearance-based feedback on social media to body image concerns. The researchers say the focus has previously been on women's experiences. However, this study reveals men are also vulnerable to the pressures of online body ideals. Talented artists are elevating the beauty of a small Australian town. The International Mural Fest is being held in Sheffield in northwest Tasmania this week, with this year's theme, The Magic of the Minuscule. Among the 9 finalists, New Zealand's Helen English.
That monarch butterfly is just at the point it's emerging from its cocoon and about to flap its wings. So it's all about the magic of the minuscule being the promise that you hold at the start of your journey.
The festival runs until Saturday. And in sport, Elise Perry has starred for the Sixers in her side's 6-run win over the Hurricanes in Hobart last night. The Sixers captain scored 86 off 62, guiding the visitors to 7 for 155. Hobart fell short, finishing at 9 for 149. Tonight, the Wacker Ground will host a WBBL doubleheader. First up, the Thunder will play Brisbane and then the Scorchers take on the Renegades. While today, attention will turn to the MCG when the Australia A men's side takes on India A in the second tour match. Nathan McSweeney will open for Australia. A strong indication selectors are looking to promote him to open for the national side against India this summer.
National Radio News, produced by Charles Sturt University, the Community Radio Network, and supported by the Community Broadcasting Foundation.
I love that. All right, here I am, 2RRR 8:04 in AM. It is Tuesday, the 7th of November, and I'm joined here in the studio with Mr. Andrew Hill, tennis coach extraordinaire, Stars TV youth facilitator, energizer, motivator, but he's also a key member of the Ryde Macquarie Park Business Chamber.
Yes.
Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Chook, and good morning all the 2RRR listeners.
Is there anyone out there? Do people listen?
Hello.
I believe people listen. They usually send me texts and call. My text line's down today, but if you do want to call in, 9816-2777, 9816-2777. Come and talk about anything you want or ask Andrew a question about the many things he does. But tell us, what is the Ryde Macquarie Park Business Chamber?
Ryde Macquarie Park Business Chamber is one chamber within the city of Ryde. And
that's what I want to ask.
Yeah.
Because there's the Chamber of Commerce, but then...
Well, you've got, it's broken into, if you think shopping centres, you've got West Ryde, Chamber of Commerce, absolutely brilliant. Epping, Chamber of Commerce, you've got Eastwood Chamber of Commerce, Ryde Macquarie Park Chamber of Commerce, Gladesville, which is just here. And what we do is we bring all the businesses together after work, and we go and get council to give us the up-to-date information, and we keep everyone up to date and share information with positive events and a lot of networking. So come in. You're not going to be talked at the whole time. We'll give you the key points, and then if you want to talk to the mayor's right there. If you want to talk to the minister, in fact, from this area, John Howard, we had the Prime Minister who used to come along, so you had access to the Prime Minister.
And And when you're saying the council the information, I guess are you disseminating that information of like what happened at the last council meeting, or changes in laws or bylaws, or opportunities for grants or funding? What kind of things is happening there?
There was last month was Small Business Month, and Ryde Council put on some amazing events on small business, and one was on grants actually.
I
And
did see that grant writing workshop.
it was amazing. It was at the Institute of Technology in Meadowbank. The mayor was there. There was key people sharing information. You had a whole lot of business leaders come in, and then hopefully that information then is passed back through the chambers.
And I guess you're focused on businesses within Macquarie Park, within Ryde, that business district. Is it the shopping centre, or is it all the big corporations there? Because there's so many businesses now.
Now, big corps are in Macquarie Park, but shopping centres are your hubs for communities and businesses, heaps of businesses, but it's not just about our area. We have business delegations going from here to China, Singapore, Dubai, and they're coming back, and when they come to Sydney, they go, we have a personal invite from these local chambers. So then they come to us. Now, also, I've got to mention North Sydney Business Chamber. There's all really good chambers out there.
And what's the function? I've been involved in the Chamber of Commerce most of my life, but for those of people that don't know, what is the Chamber all about, and what's the purpose of a Chamber of Commerce?
It's thinking like a team. So a Chamber of Commerce might be, how can we collectively work to get better parking so that we have more clients coming in to visit the shops? How can we improve traffic so that people can get to us easier? And when you look at Macquarie Park, we had the new train system, and now we've got the metro system. We've got some really good ticks on the board. And in the past, the idea is to try and get more big business, and then that money can go through council and actually make better things.
And I guess that's one of the things I was going to ask for. Is it do you pay to become part of the chamber? Is there weekly meetings? How does it all work? Because usually there's a chamber, you pay.
You're a member.
Yep, you're a member.
Yep. Now, I'm a life member of Macquarie Park, so I've done 20 years. I love it.
Hasn't it changed Macquarie Park since
Macquarie Park Ryde. In fact, I remember when there was no Macquarie Centre. I remember Macquarie Uni.
Yep.
I'm thinking, why would you put a shopping centre there?
And do you remember it was just farms?
It was.
Horses everywhere, and it was just like vacant lots of land. And,
I do.
And it's amazing because I was away for 15 years and I came back, and obviously I did some visits back, but I was blown away at the apartments, the building, the infrastructure, the offices, the companies that moved into North Ryde.
Yes.
And that's all really positive, but one thing that really gets my goat is the traffic that is associated with having all those businesses here now.
Now, isn't it amazing? The traffic problem fixed when we had COVID. If we can take turns on the road, like this morning I got here, I didn't want to be late. I got here early, parked my car, relaxed, did some stretching, and everything's fine. And that's what we do.
And I'm actually all about that, like the changing work hours, having people work from 10 till 6, 10 till 4, 8 till 2. If we can just break up that work day for a lot of people, and it makes people's lives a whole lot more convenient.
Yeah, more efficient.
More efficient. It makes the roads, the traffic the better. So when's the next meet-up, or how do people get involved in the Macquarie Ryde Park? The Ryde Macquarie Park Business Chamber.
The next meeting is on the 11th of the 11th, which is also a big Remembrance Day. But it's in the evening, 5:30. It's over at North Ryde Golf Course. And if you're interested in your local businesses, please come along. I'll be there. And it's a matter of just positive people coming together and making things happen.
And what are you talking about? Obviously, you said you're talking about some infrastructure, talking about traffic, but what other things go on, and do you have special guests, or is it just a networking event?
We do have special guests, and we listen to our members, and they might say, we're really concerned about cybersecurity. So we went and organised a meeting at the Institute of Sport with their new cybersecurity division. Blew everyone's mind, and there was some. It can be the mayor, it could be the minister. So Jordan Lane comes along and has a state perspective. Sometimes we have our federal person come in, and they're all different perspectives. They've just come back from China. So
they have, haven't they?
They have.
Yeah, I was following on the old social. They had a very busy trip over there.
We sent a business delegation over to China, and then when we came back, just doors started to open, and then we even had a visit about a week after from the deputy, deputy premier of China here in Sydney.
Yeah, wow.
And that's the thing. It just needs to open the door and get people talking.
And are you involved much in events, like when it comes to having events? Like we know there's like the Christmas thing at North Ryde Common and things like that. How's the chamber involved in local and community events?
Every month, the first Monday of the month, Macquarie Park has a business after hours, but West Ryde also has events, and we work collectively. So all the chambers work together to say, let's not do the same day. If Eastwood has Granny Smith, let's all get behind it like a ruck, and we're going to promote it. If West Ryde has the Easter parade, let's all get behind it.
And when you say get behind it, how do you mean get behind it? Is it an avenue for businesses to sponsor the event, to give money, to give prizes, to support with volunteering? How do you get behind it?
You get behind it, you can do all those things that you just said, but you can just turn up and you can just meet people, and that energy, it felt pretty amazing. There must have been 90,000 at the Granny Smith.
Oh, it was huge, wasn't it?
It was.
It's massive.
And it's getting bigger and bigger. It went into Eastwood Station. So you walk out of the station, you walk straight onto a Ferris wheel.
It's straight there. And I was saying, growing up in the Ryde Hood, I remember as a kid, it was just, you get a few hundred people, then there was a few thousand people, and it kind of grew, but coming back to see 90,000 people.
When you talk about that, when the Granny Smith was small, that's when Sports Star came in, and we went to every school, and we said, Sports Star is going to be at the Granny Smith, and we're playing handball. Come down, and all these kids brought their parents. I know.
Actually, one of the things at our local school, Kent Road, what they did was they actually run handball lessons and classes to engage, because everyone plays handball, but a lot of the girls were not getting involved, and a lot of the other kids, because there's such a mixed culture there at Kent Road.
There's
like 60 nationalities, and a lot of these kids from China or Hong Kong or from Singapore, they didn't have a background of handball. And it was such an inclusive week-long thing, explaining the rules, how to play, giving people basic... And now
Foursquare and King, and fools and double bounces, all those things for those viewers out there.
It's so good, it's so good. All right, so how do people get involved with the Ryde Macquarie Park Chamber, and who can be involved?
Anyone can be involved. You could be... you don't have to have a business, but just in Ryde, there's 70% small business in Ryde. Yeah, and home businesses. So if you wanted to be inspired by other people's great stories, come along. Yeah.
So I'm guessing it's also great for people who run their own business, sole traders who work from home. They don't really get a whole lot of interaction. They might do a lot of their work online. It's
really important.
Come and actually speak to people, talk about your business, talk about systems, talk about cybersecurity. Fantastic way, especially as I said, because there is a bit of isolation for a lot of people now that do work from home or run their own little business from home, whether you're a web designer or you're a programmer.
We set up a thing called Monday Morning Coffees. So every Monday morning we get a group of, anyone can come, and we just sit down, and I said, I'm planning my week, and while you're sitting around the table you go, what are you doing? And they go, I never did it. So then they start doing it. But then you're listening to their ideas, and it actually helps your ideas, because you go, I didn't see it that way. It just makes it strong.
Where do people need to go? What's the website?
All right, MPRBC, Macquarie Park Ryde BC.com.au. And come along as my guest. I'll be there on Monday. I'm hoping you come as well, Chuck.
I am. Yeah. I'm not going to make this Monday, but I am going to definitely come, because I was speaking to Andrew and he motivated me, and I got a whole lot excited speaking to all the different things that he does. But Mr. Andrew Hill, thank you for joining me this morning. We're going to play a little song, and then we'll come back and have one last chat before we have to let you go.
Thanks, Chuck, and thanks to the listeners, 2RRR. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure. All right, this one, In Excess, Australian classic. This is Don't Change on our Rock and Roll Morning on 2RRR.